able to come on in a second. I also want to see where the destination is so I can retweet it. Full Press NFL. There we go. Yeah, I'm just like so funny. We'll watch myself live right now.
That's cool.
It is cool. I wonder where everyone's at. They're all late as shit today.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what's going on, bro? Come on now. I'll be surprised. Like, actually, like I always try to I try to give Rant the benefit of the doubt, dude. But he always he always lets me down, man. He never really actually he never comes through. I'm like, come on, dude. Like 2 or 3 times I've invited him. I invited Big Doug. So basically, Big Doug was the original person that I invited to come on, and then basically he sent me he wanted to go early. That's why I was trying to go for like 6 earlier in the day, and then basically what happened? He just sent me a text around 8 o'clock. I was like, I can't make it, so one way to work it out. So that's kind of where we're at.
Well, damn.
Yeah. Here, I'm about to tweet this on my own joint in a second. There's Corey. What's good, brother? Man?
What's up, George? What's up, Trav?
Like, what the hell?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, I didn't like. This is a new gambit for me, man. I didn't. It's StreamYard's little cousin, little brother. So I was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, which one do you typically use? Do you use StreamYard? What do you use?
I'll use StreamYard. I actually like how this looks a little bit better.
Oh, that's pretty dope, man. So this is StreamYard, right? Am I wrong, or what? I guess it's like a different version of it.
This is what is this? Restream. Yeah, Restream. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I like the way this looks, though.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I want to play a little like intro in a second, but basically, yeah. So Full Press Coverage is the national webpage, and basically they have like Full Press NFL, and I'm in charge of the branch for Full Press Washington. And this guy bought supposedly it's like one of the highest ends one you can do, which is pretty dope actually. So he gave it to me, and like the deal is I can use it whenever there's free time. So he had it from 6 to 7, and I'm like, all right, can I jump in at 7? He's like, sure. So we got it going on. So we're good.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
So I thought you weren't going to show up. This was because you knew I was coming up in here. So
nah, dog. I'm leaving a little early.
That's what I thought. You like them church, them people that got the afternoon church service. You them Bamas that leave after the food done been served. So okay, I see how it is.
Nah, it's funny, man. For Corey, it's funny to finally meet you, man. I'm looking forward to catch up with Corey. Good people right there. I'm actually cool with Rio. Me and Rio are boys, and Trevor's been holding me down for a minute. So Trevor basically, when we first got together, he started writing for Full Press Coverage, and then he started blowing up with the podcast game. And I people kept on telling me, "Hey, George, do a podcast." I'm like, dude, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing right now. I'm basically like, I was like, Trevor, can you help me out? Me and Trevor started doing it together, and here we are, man. Just having a good time.
Yeah, Sanchez is on it. Let's go.
I don't know, I don't know how I got into this. Like, I just started talking into a camera, and people actually think what I say is relevant. So I'm just I said, oh, okay, we'll take it from there. But it's good. And George, I've been a fan from afar for a long time, man.
Yeah,
so I know, and we're friends. I think we're friends on Facebook too. So
I think we are, man. We definitely are. Yeah,
it's official then.
Yeah, it's official. The
BFF
right there, man.
That shows you what I think of Trev. We ain't friends on Facebook, so I just follow him on Instagram. So
that's so funny, man. Nah, man. So for real, I'll tell Trevor all the time, man. Like, I do this for the experience. I just do it to have fun and meet people. And honestly, with a season like this, with a season that's been kind of up and down all year long, just I see Trevor whenever I go to a game. I look out for Trevor. I go try to find Keith, to try to find people that I'm cool with.
Yeah.
Hey, Monday night,
man.
Monday night.
You going to the Seahawks game?
Yeah.
I don't have any. So I got to figure it out. I don't have any. So for the rest of the year, I don't have any tickets. But Bud Light's supposed to give me some. But we'll see what's up with that. They haven't really.
Taylor Heineke. Better call Taylor Heineke on that.
I got to figure that out, man. That's hilarious.
Story Leineke, as I like to call him.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Story Leineke. He only performs when he has the storyline and his favorites.
100%.
100%, man. Look, don't get me started. Don't get me started on him. I'm gonna be nice. We won, so I gotta.
You have to be nice. You can be real.
Yeah, you know how I am, man. I'm real about it. You know I'm real about him. I said if old Trevor storyline name got you thinking now. Taylor's storyline. I actually called in Russell and Medhurst the other day, and Rooster was like, he said, you should talk to Taylor about that. He always likes branding and everything. You know how Chris is.
Yeah, he's wild.
He just crazy stuff. But yeah, man.
Chris is my boy, man. So Chris gave me my first start in writing. So basically, I don't know if you know this, Corey, but like at one point I actually got all the way up to Sports Illustrated. And like basically Chris Russell put me on. He's the one that found me. He's like, oh, I see you on Twitter. I see you writing. Do you want to start writing for Sports Illustrated? And I started writing with him. It was dope. So like he promised he'd come on with me one time, and Rick Snyder promised me one time too. But like I've been so like I'm a teacher full time, so like I'm just hustling, dude. Just like hustling all the time. Whenever I can, I try to do this in my free time. So
I've got two academic guys in here, two scholarly.
I work in higher ed. I'm the alumni director at my alma mater. So
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So I know what it's like to do this and then do the full time thing. So this is a hobby. And I always tell people, I say, because you've been writing the best. This is actually the best time of year because there's so many people who fall off and they're just like, I'm done covering. I love to bitch and moan. That's the best thing about it. So they're so this is perfect time of year.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it regardless on the camera or not. So might as well put a camera and a microphone with me.
100%. Right. This separates the weak from the obsolete too, right? Basically, the people that fall off and like aren't actually going to be like like I'm going to be here from now till 2020, 2050. I'm gonna be here forever, man. So that's why I'm here. Right, so it's all good, man.
My master's screwed me up though. Back in like 17 and 18, I was just like, I can't do all of this. I can't do it. And then they broke our quarterback. So I said, I can't do all of this right now. I got to finish this master's.
All right. So let's get it started real quick because we kind of been BSing for about 7 minutes. So let's actually get the show started. We can start doing BS on the show. So it's all good. All right. So, Trevor's going to be with me till about 7:25. Burgundy, Redskin Rant's supposed to jump on here as well. And then around 7:40, Corey, if you don't mind, kind of like, let's say Rand doesn't come, you and I can kind of fill some time till
absolutely.
Till Rashad comes. So Rashad's a Panthers fan. He actually has the Panthers Nation podcast. So he was cool. I had him on the other day, or I was on his show the other day, and he's kind of reciprocating for me. So they're confident, man. They think the Panthers are going to roll us. So we'll see how. I mean, we'll talk about that and see how it goes.
Don't get me started, Trev. You better get George ready.
George, buckle up, dog.
Ooh, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun, man. Let's do it. All right, so let's get it started. So let me actually get a second, cut it off for our pod in a second. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? It's George Carmi from Full Press Washington, the podcast. Let's get it. What's up, y'all? It's George Carmi from Full Press Washington in our Thursday edition, previewing the Carolina Panthers. I'm here with my main man, Trevor Stores. How you doing, sir?
Yo, I'm great. We just beat the brakes off Tom Brady, the GOAT. Now we got Scam Newton coming up. So
Scam Newton. I love that. That's a good start to the show. I love that,
Trevor.
I'm
bringing smoke today.
Trevor's one of my boys, being a full press coverage, ref the district. He's on Football Garbage Time podcast. He's all over the place. He's blowing up. So it's good to have Trevor on the show. Got my main man Corey over here. How you doing, Corey? What's going on, man? Corey Sanchez.
Doing good, George.
Sanchez. So Corey, so real quick, so you're on the Warpath podcast.
Yes, sir.
What else you got going on? Anything else going on?
That's about it. I am the creative, I guess if you want to call it, creative rambler on the Warpath. You see me Wednesdays and Sundays. Probably having a mental breakdown most Sundays. And it's a pleasure to be here with you for the first time. I kind of told you in pre-production. I mean, I've been a fan from far off, and then this guy right above me. My goodness, look, that's a GOAT right there. Where he do.
Wow.
I mean, you are a GOAT, bro. You are everywhere, man. But it's a pleasure to be on. It's a pleasure to be on here with you. I'm just I'm tickled pink or burgundy and gold to be on here with you guys. So and I mean, I didn't know Tyler Perry was going to Charlotte to shoot Medea's Return to the Queen City on Fox.
Yes.
How you doing? I heard
All
that.
right, here we go. Okay.
Let's go.
Hell yeah,
I woke
let's
up
go.
and
This is
chose
exactly what I
violence.
want. This
Told
is
you,
good. All right,
George. I
all right,
told
cool,
you.
man. Good stuff. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I'm happy to have Corey on the show. It's my first time interacting with him. Heard nothing but good things. We've interacted on Twitter for a couple of years now, just talking, going back and forth. I just heard he's hilarious, and he's come as advertised. So I love that, bringing the wood off the break. So good job, Corey. I like that, man. Good stuff. Keep it going. No, don't pull the break. Don't pull anything back on me. We're all good over here. All right, cool. So, guys, let's talk about some things, right? So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that surprising kind of out of nowhere victory. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see that coming at all. That was kind of out of nowhere. And we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers. So we're going to talk to Trevor and Corey today for a little while. And then about halfway through the show, my boy Rashad's going to come from Panthers Nation podcast. He's going to kind of give his 2 cents. Earlier in the week, if you guys go on my Twitter feed, I actually was a guest on their show. Awesome guys. I love just talking to sports with other teams and other groups around the area. You learn so much. And they're humble, they're down to earth, but they are very confident that basically Cam Newton's going to run us up. So I want to see what you guys think about that. But before we get to Carolina, let's kind of pitch it up over here. We'll start off with Trevor, and Corey, jump in whenever you want. So basically, that was a uncalled for, surprising win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's your takeaway from that game? Like, what do you think this says about the team? Is that more of a fluke for Washington? Do they have Tampa Bay's number? Did Tampa Bay have a bad game? Like, where do you stand right now on Washington, Trevor? You can start off with you, bud.
To be quite honest, I think during the bye week they showed that they learned something from practice or whatever the coaches were telling them, and it resonated on the field. To be even more real, we kind of got a little lucky on a couple of possessions, a couple of dropped interceptions, could have turned the momentum of the game just like that. I thought defense, that was probably one of the better performances I've seen all year long from our defense. And for what it's worth, it was one of the best performances number 4 has had. I'm not even going to mention his name because he doesn't deserve it. But it's probably one of the best performances number 4 has had for us all season and going back to last season too. I don't think we've turned the page. I don't think we've righted the ship. I think we're in the same position, but the ship is now facing the right direction after that win. But
great metaphor, great visual, Trevor. I like that. Okay, cool.
We haven't moved, but that's my take. Good win though. Cool. Surprising.
No, you hit the nail on the head. Like, it was funny. So this weekend, I actually went out of town. I went to visit my in-laws. We had a little get together in the Smoky Mountains, actually, with the Tennessee. So I was in the car, didn't really catch the game live, but I watched it later. Dude, I was like, this is a perfect weekend to kind of get away from football, and we're gonna get rocked by the Buccaneers. And dude, right. I was looking at the scores, like, dude, I can't believe I'm missing this game. And it was like, 13-0. We're dominating. Taylor Heineke was like 11-14 to start off the game, and it just looked really good. And our defense actually held it down. But Corey, like, what do you think? Do we right the ship? Was this a fluke? Like, was it just like, we're any given Sunday? What's your take on the team going forward?
I think the key thing that a lot of people haven't said in the media and even with us podcasters is this shows you what this team has been capable of since Jump Street. It's not an issue of talent. It's an issue of heart. That's exactly what it is. You went out here. Think about this, guys. We were on our 3rd string right tackle. We're on, and I won't get into Brandon Sheriff right now, but we were on our second guard. We were on our 2nd center, and they went out here, paved way for I thought was one of the best games, although he rushed for 60 some odd yards, by Antonio Gibson because he held on to the rock, and 2, he went forward. He kept on going. He kept on grinding. It was the most physical game I have seen. I think it's the best game since Thanksgiving of last year. I thought Scott Turner called a great game.
He did call a good game. I agree.
Yeah.
And he calls a good game in between the 20s.
He does.
The red zone is where we have the issues at.
Yes.
I thought Jack Del Rio, I'm starting to think now, the problem with Jack Del Rio is he has next man up mentality when it comes to dealing with this defense. I don't think he has his real leader. Jonathan Allen is the real leader of this defense. Don't let it fool you. Chase Young is the face.
Yeah.
Right.
Chase Young is the fake. It's pretty much like Jennifer's Body, right? Like, what's her name is Megan Fox. Chase is Megan Fox, right? But
Mhm.
in the back, we know Amanda Seiberg, she crazy and everything, but she the one running everything in the background. That's what we know, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
That is what John Allen is, and that's what he's doing. Now, I gave John Allen crap because he's not the greatest against the run, but he has superseded that with how he has become as a pass rusher
He's
internally.
a menace.
Yeah, he is a menace, and he's making up for the lack of linebacker play. But y'all, Jamin Davis, the young man, is
Coming
proving
around.
that
He's coming.
he's swinging around.
Trevor's boy.
Yeah.
Good.
He did good. In
Yeah.
storyline, man, what can I say? We learned the legend of almost beating Tampa Bay and turned into beating Tampa Bay. He didn't beat himself. He got sacked 5 times, but
Yeah.
he did not turn the ball over.
I think he took a couple. No, he did not.
Oh, no,
He admitted that actually,
Yeah.
Trevor, after the game. I don't know if you guys caught it. He was like, you know what? Like, my offensive line played really well. It was my bad. I'll take the L on that. I gave up 4 sacks. And he does that sometimes. He definitely like
He
tries to.
does.
I think all mobile quarterbacks, like, I don't have a stats in front of me, but Lamar Jackson, Griffin back in the day, those quarterbacks that are like athletes and can scramble and kind of create opportunities, they also take a lot of sacks because they're always trying to anticipate and trying to get out and trying to create, so it just happens naturally. But yeah, I mean, Corey, I think you hit the nail on the head, dude. I think Taylor Heineke played a great game. Maybe actually, we're going to talk about Steve Smith. I don't know if you guys caught the Steve Smith JP Finley interview today. It was fire. It was a great interview.
What else is he supposed to say though?
But it was good though. I thought it was
But
a
it
good
was
interview
good.
altogether. But basically, he just talked about how like maybe Washington just has Tampa Bay's number schematically. Maybe that's we had that advantage in the playoffs. That same blueprint kind of applied to this game, and that's why we did pretty well. But I love Corey. I love what you said about Jonathan Allen. That's my guy. If you ever like follow my Twitter feeds, it's like I've been preaching that all the time. Like I said, like so for me, I love Chase Young. I want him to be that guy. I want him to be Von Miller, Khalil Mack. I think Montez Sweat is just as good as him or could be better, and not being objective. And I think Jonathan Allen's the most underrated person on our team. He has a 91.1 pass rush grade in PFF. He has 6 sacks on the season as a defensive tackle. He's a menace, man. And I actually tweeted the other day, I was like, if he doesn't make the Pro Bowl, that's a travesty. It's like for
That's
the
a snub,
NFL.
a true snub.
True snub. And like I think we have to do him justice. If Washington wins the good 6, 7, 8 games, that'll get him to the all-pro level. But if we're like 3-13, 3-14, whatever it is, he's not going to get any love. So Washington has to kind of hold it down for the captain, man. So see how that goes.
We need St. Juice to hurry up and shake the marbles loose and get back on the field because Kendall Fuller cannot play on the outside to save his life. And I'm so sick and tired of it, bro. I'm so sick and tired of it.
Look, I was just trying to figure out, like, I don't know if Mike Evans went to the same online ordained ministry to marry people, because I didn't know he was out here baptizing people.
Yeah,
he really did. God. He took the palm, he did the almighty push and said, boy, get out of my way.
Kendall, and he got the nerve to grab a ref and ask permission to touch him
he's like his little swim move or whatever. Come on, yeah, I saw that.
Bro, you're gonna get swum every time. You're wasting time, bro.
Yeah, Mike Evans is one of my favorite it's probably my favorite wide receiver to watch. And admittedly, since when he like beat us back in 2014 and he treated us like children, he has been one of my favorite wide receivers to watch. Oh my God, he's so underrated. And if you're a fantasy player, you should always go get Mike Evans because he always seems to work out very well. So
I feel you, man. Thank you. I'm with you. So Corey brought up a good point, right? So we lost Chase Young this last game. What do you guys think about that? How devastating of an injury is Chase Young to our defense? Can we recover from that? Like, I have my 2 cents, but I want to see what you guys think. So, whoever wants to jump up, give it a shot. Like, how do you feel about Chase Young being gone for the year?
I don't think it hurts. I mean, it hurts and it doesn't hurt. It hurts him because he wasn't producing as well as he wanted to, and now he doesn't have a chance to come off a bye and regenerate himself that he was last year. It doesn't necessarily hurt us as a team because he wasn't, producing like that, but at the same time, other teams game plan for him, which gave other players opportunities to step up and make plays if he's getting all the attention. But also, now we get a real test to see what our defense is made of without Chase Young being there for a little bit and then leaving the game. because now he's not there. I mean, he might leave the huddle or whatever, but you can't see him warming up. He doesn't bring that energy, that like the same energy to the field pregame. Who's going to step up in his place from the get-go and not have to come in, off of adrenaline? Like, okay, Chase just went down. We got to do this for Chase and the heart, like you mentioned, Corey. Now we'll see if the heart really does come out or if it was just a fluke.
So real quick, Trevor. So question for the group, whoever wants to jump in on this, how much do you weigh like the off the field, like intangibles, like, having Chase Young being a locker room leader? Is that going to trickle onto the field, or do you think it's kind of like a hearsay and what media kind of hype up, or what are you guys thinking about that?
And I know some people are fans of this individual who comes on a certain radio station that was bought out by Intercom, and he likes to talk about gambling and went to Maryland and basically tried to say, the curmudgeon, as I like to call him. I feel like him and a certain doctor from North Carolina actually willed this to happen because they kept on talking about what he wasn't doing. Y'all know, George, you and I just talked about it, bro. We got side hustles. Stay out of the man's pocket. Shut up. You got side hustles. You got look, what I hear commercials with you, BetMGM and FanDuel and WinBet and all this stuff. Like, I don't like this young man is out here trying to better himself. He don't
have one life to live, man.
Exactly. He not.
You gotta eat, man. You gotta eat. Yeah.
He's not getting in trouble. And you know it, being a teacher, you got good kids who sometimes fall short, especially if you're a math teacher, right? Because that's where it seems like all the good kids kind of struggle at sometimes.
100%.
So my thing is, who helped Chase Young off the field? Brandon Sheriff did. That speaks volume. What that young man did when he came out, he had no reason to come back out there in the grand scheme of things. He probably did more damage to his leg walking out there on crutches, being out there with his team. He's a heartbeat, y'all.
He is a heartbeat.
He's a heartbeat.
It's going to be interesting. And to answer your question, George, I don't know, man. It might look good on paper, but at the end of the day, what this kid means, as far as not just on paper, but as the heart, it's the same thing with John Allen, right? John Allen said the right things for the longest time. And we saw nuggets of it, right? We saw nuggets of his play, but he never really was like, oh, this guy's great. He's a top 10 defensive tackle in the NFL. He finally grew into that.
He does.
Through the criticism of people like me who don't know what we're talking about. And he went through, but I'm saying Chase is the same way. And maybe this is an injury that will help him reset and be like, hey, maybe I need to go and focus on doing this because, like you just said,
approach.
Favorite is
I agree with you, Corey. It almost forces a crossroads for him now, right? So instead of him being like, oh, my teammates let me down, or kind of finding some sort of like kind of to dissuade, this is my issue. Now it's like, dude, we're going into year 3. I have coming off a torn ACL. I can become, I could either become the face of the league again, or I could just become an obscure first-round pick, right? That's going to be Chase Young's dilemma next year. So hopefully he kind of rises to the occasion, kind of sees it from that perspective. For sure. So I mean, for me, I don't really know how I feel about this, right? So obviously Chase Young did generate pressure. I heard a really interesting stat. So on plays from 3rd and 7 and above, so 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. 57% of the time, Chase Young was chipped. He either had an extra tight end to block for him, or a running back out of the backfield, or a fullback to kind of chip him and add that extra pressure, right? So maybe that kind of opened up other opportunities. Maybe there's no coincidence that Jonathan Allen's thriving now because of that. We don't really know, right? One area that I'm kind of happy with, or kind of optimistic about, is Chase Young basically left in the middle of the second quarter with about 7 minutes left. Washington still held it down against the Buccaneers. They had Casey Toohill and Shakatoni. Like, we don't really know how they're going to hold it down, long-term 16 games, but they did do a good job kind of preventing the Buccaneers from blowing up. So that I'm optimistic about that, but whenever you lose an athlete like Chase Young's caliber and the ability to kind of be a game breaker, we kind of miss that over there. I think my man Trevor's gonna have to run real quick, right?
Yeah, but so before I go, Corey, my bad, dog.
You just run. You run.
I'm doing goat things. You gave me the goat. I'm doing goat things.
E2 Brute. Okay, I got you. Man.
No, always a pleasure to see you, Corey. I'll
You
probably
too, brother.
see you either on here, on yours, or Ref the District somewhere.
We gotta get all three of us together again one time. It's fun. Man.
Yes,
I like this dynamic right now. It's good.
Real talk. We beat the Panthers. I said this yesterday on Ref the District, 27-20. That's my final score. That's my prediction. We ruined the storybook. Homecoming for Cam Newton and Ron Rivera. George, always a pleasure. I'll see you on the flip side.
Catch up with you soon, brother.
Night. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take care.
See you, Trev.
All right. So speaking of which, right? So Trevor kind of left a little, nice little segue for us. 27-20 is what he has, with us beating Carolina next week. So in a couple minutes, we're gonna have my man Rashad jump on here and kind of talk about the Panthers. Let's kind of pivot to that game, Corey. So Ron Rivera returns home. Okay, he's 10-15 as the coach of the Washington football team. He posted a 76-63 record in Charlotte. What are your thoughts on his job so far, Corey? I haven't actually talked to you about this yet. So how do you feel about Ron Rivera and coaching over here in Washington?
I think that Ron Rivera has got to get used to this media because it's a very different media than the Charlotte media. I mean, you go from a basketball craved market, which the DMV is a basketball craved market, but
the sleeping giant. I think I'm a DC guy. I'm DC
exactly.
Sports, right? So the Wizards, once they start blowing up, the whole city's gonna go wild. I feel you with that.
Yeah, we're a little fair weather, right?
We are.
We've been a hockey town. We've been a hockey town for like the last decade.
It's true.
But I think with Ron, he's still learning the media because he hasn't learned one thing. It's like when my mom always told me, Corey, shut up. And I would always say, okay. She's like, no, Corey, shut up. Just don't say anything. He hasn't learned that yet. You got to think about this. Matthew. I'll use Matthew Parrish for an example.
Okay.
Matthew Parrish works at the Washington Times. He can go call somebody that's covering Joe Biden, covering Nancy Pelosi, Kevin McCarthy, the ultimate bull crappers in the world, right? Politicians. You don't think that he can be like, well, does this sound like crap to you? Yeah, this sounds like crap to me. Like, I mean, we've got people here like a BS detector for years. They covered it, and Ron doesn't get that. You need to give these people less.
Less.
And I'll never forget this. Him and Ben Standick had a conversation last year, and I made a video about this. He's talking about, well, it really pisses me off that some people aren't taking me seriously, blah, 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 blah. I said, if you shut up and do your job, everything else will take care of it. So to answer your question in a roundabout way again, I'm indifferent to it. I think he has had opportunities where he could have went out and got a quarterback. I don't think they were as aggressive.
I agree with that 100%. Actually, that's a good point. Okay,
Ryan Fitzpatrick, you settled on Ryan Fitzpatrick. You might as well just not even settled at all and just been like, you could have just been like, can we get some stock in titanium and call Alex Smith back for another year? Like, seriously, that's what I would have done instead of Ryan Fitzpatrick, because it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, man. This is when I knew
there's a 16-year track record of what Ryan Fitzpatrick does. You're exactly right, man. I feel you. I think you're onto something, right? I think Ron Rivera, I think he is an authentic, genuine person. And I think Washington, the media they're looking for stories, man. And we're kind of used, I think it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome. Like the people that are here in the media have been here for a minute. So they basically are used to sensationalism and kind of making things kind of hyped up and kind of blowing things out of proportion a little bit, right? So it's like, all right, like it's a small little nugget that they can kind of jump on. They will jump on it. And Rivera is being authentic, puts it out there, and then gets slaughtered for it. So I think eventually he'll become hardened, and I think he will kind of tighten that back. I've talked to many people on my podcast before. I don't know if you agree with this. I think Rivera basically he's like a manager of men. He's like a manager. He's like a CEO. He's like he's like that the whole military mindset where he kind of like brings culture and kind of brings the team together, but he's not necessarily a good X's and O's kind of. He's not a really dynamic play caller, in my opinion. I think in this role in DC, he's more of a CEO anyway. I think he lets Jack Del Rio do his thing and then lets Scott Turner do his thing. So I think eventually what's going to happen is, like, in a couple of years, I do think he's going to leave and some sort of like young upstart will come take. He's more of a bridge coach, in my opinion. Do you kind of agree with me there, or what are you thinking?
I never really thought of it like that, but you think about it, and the coaches that you kind of mentioned this, but without mentioning it,
Yeah.
About 56 and a half years is the average starting age of a head coach that Dan Snyder has hired here in Washington.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. That's a good point.
And the youngest was Jay Gruden. But if you go back and look, a lot of them, the magic number was 56 or 57 for the most part. But I mean, I could see that. I always thought with Mike Shanahan, I thought Mike Shanahan was a bridge for Kyle. I always saw Kyle Shanahan as a head coach of the Washington Redskins.
I thought that was going to happen too, honestly. Yeah.
But then I forgot we got ash burners. This is exactly what I call it, because the Stockholm syndrome, right? We don't think we can do no better. It was like against Tampa. People started making excuses. Washington fans started making excuses. Well, they didn't have Antonio Brown. Well, they didn't have Gronkowski. Well, they didn't have this. You got to go out there. It's like Doc Walker says, I don't give a damn about who's not on the field. Exactly. You got to go out there and beat who's in front of you. Gronkowski, they were 2-2 with him in the lineup. So that really didn't matter at that point. Antonio Brown, he was undefeated this season when he was in the lineup. So I get that. I get where you're coming from. If you talk about Antonio Brown, don't come in with the Gronkowski stuff. Just believe that you're able to win some of these games in any given Sunday. I wouldn't call it a fluke. I think it is maximum potential. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the whole football season is it's a year of attrition, right? You have to try to survive, right? We're missing Logan Thomas, we're missing Curtis Samuel, we're missing Diami Brown, like we're missing Trace Young, we're missing Montez Sweat. So like you can't just kind of hang your hat on, we're missing some injured players, and that's why we lost. Like you can't really go that direction. So a couple of things though. So basically, I don't know if you caught this at all, Corey, just, talking openly right now. So basically Steve Smith was on the B Mitch and Finley podcast. Did you catch any of this at all?
No, I didn't catch any of this. I read some of it on Instagram.
He was spitting fire, man. So let me throw a couple quotes at you. Let me see what you think. It's actually good. We'll have a little segment right here and let's see what you think, right? So Steve Smith keeps it real. He's basically the Carolina B Mitch, right? So this is the first quote that I wrote down, right? He said, Curtis Samuel is a crutch for Scott Turner. The only reason Curtis Samuel is basically here in D.C. is because Scott Turner feels comfortable with him. $75 million is an overpay. Good luck is a quote by Steve Smith. How do you feel about that?
Well, I did call him Paul Richardson for the long. I call Curtis Samuel is Paul Richardson, especially when I saw him come out with that number 10. He is Paul Richardson incarnated. Steve Smith is absolutely correct because basically, Georgie, we saw this. DeAndre Carter is doing.
I love DeAndre Carter. That's my boy this year. Yeah,
that Samuels was running when they were in Atlanta during the Atlanta game. He's running the same things, running the motion and the little pistol and everything, and the reverses. So, we spent money on on a product that we pretty much could have facilitated already here. Yeah. So I think he is right. I think little Mighty Mouth is right in that
Mighty
situation.
Mouth.
He ain't nothing like ice. That's my favorite quote from him. Ice up, son. That's it. Yeah.
I love Steve. I mean, I agree with you, man. So I don't mind Washington taking that shot. Like, I don't want to be. We still have like a whole bunch of salary cap space right now, so I don't mind taking a shot at a piece they thought they could work with, especially wide receiver they were comfortable with. But Curtis Samuel has kind of been a letdown so far. You should check out that interview though, Corey. Like Steve Smith was like, no one in the NFL is scared of Curtis Samuel. Like, shouldn't have basically dropped that big money on him. My man Rashad's actually coming here. I'm happy to have him. So Corey, bring him on real quick. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm bringing my main man Rashad onto the podcast from the Panthers Nation podcast. What's up, Rashad? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's popping? PNP in the building. What's cracking, everybody?
In the building, man? What's going on, man? So Rashad's my boy Corey. He has a on the Warpath podcast. So we're just talking about Steve Smith today. I don't know if you caught the interview. You probably didn't catch it in Carolina. Did you hear about this at all?
Nah, I didn't. I saw your notes though, so I'm interested. What you got?
Yeah, man. So basically, we have a beat writer named JP Finley. He does NBC Sports Washington, and Steve Smith, he speaks the truth, man. He just came on there with spitting, and he was like, you know what? He said Curtis Samuel. Like the first quote that I basically said was, he said Curtis Samuel is not worth $75 million. He said Curtis Samuel is, overpaid and good luck. And Scott Turner is using him as a crutch. As a Carolina diehard, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Curtis Samuel over there?
I mean, I like Curtis. I don't know about $75 million and whatnot, but I do like Curtis as a player. Again, it took us some time to kind of figure him out, just because he's that hybrid guy. It took us a little time, but I like Curtis. I wish he was still here, but I mean, more power to you guys. Paid him, so. But and take it for what it's worth. I mean, Steve knows these guys, right? He's criticized DJ Moore, like I mean, we've seen him. Like he knows these guys, right? So I mean, it is what it is. He's been to practices. And so if he says he's overrated, I mean, he's the GOAT. He's, in my opinion, he's the greatest Panther of all time. So
okay, I can see that.
Says goes.
No, he's a killer, man. I love that guy. He's basically even from afar, being a Washington fan, I'm all about Steve Smith. Like he's mighty mouth. So Corey called him Mighty Mouth. I'll get we're running that mouth all the time, but I think he's Mighty Mouse. He's tough, man. He's tough as nails, catches the ball, explosive wide receiver. So I'm all about it.
Hey, he might have a big mouth, but he backs it up though.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. What do he say when you see this ugly face? That means he scores.
That means I scored.
That's a good look though. I like that's a good line, man. So I gotta give it to him there. Let me throw one more quote at both of y'all. I want to hear what both of you guys have to say, especially Rashad. This is definitely very interesting. So basically, Steve Smith will talk about the coaches. He said some good things about Ron Rivera. He said he's a good coach. He said that in the Washington, just the whole franchise is kind of up in turmoil. It's kind of hard to get the whole team around. But he kind of said some interesting things about Scott Turner. He basically said he is Jason Garrett, right? He says, they kind of only run one type of offense. It's not really dynamic. He doesn't really improvise and kind of like he has that same, that Norv Turner coaching tree, and he doesn't really expand from it. And when he gets nervous, he reverts back to it. And that's going to be what it is, right? And in the future, other teams that are going to be playing Washington will kind of get a read on Scott Turner. Either one of you, whoever wants to jump on that first. How do we feel about Scott Turner? Like, Rashad is something you saw in Carolina as well. Like, who wants to jump on this? Either one of you guys can jump on it. Who wants to go for it?
I'll go first. I mean, to be honest with you, we didn't get a good look at Scott. I mean, like I said, when he was here, he took over at the end of the season. And he showed some promise, right? He showed some good things, especially with the use of Curtis Samuel. He figured that out, getting him the football in the backfield. But I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gotten a good look at him. So we didn't have him long enough. So I don't have an answer for you.
Thank you for being honest. I appreciate that. Corey, what do you got, man?
The thing that Scott Turner has done is make mediocre quarterbacks serviceable. Like, I think that is one of his most underrated qualities. We look at Taylor Heineke. We've looked at Kyle Allen. Dwayne Haskins won a game under him. Alex Smith. Your boy Will Greer. He was he was functional sometimes, right?
He was shit.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying. He
no, I don't. I don't know what you're saying, bro.
Wasn't there a couple times what was it that in that end of 19? Did he play well against Atlanta or
Kyle Allen? Probably. Who do you think it was?
Kyle Allen. I'm probably thinking Kyle Allen. But I know
Will Greer never got a good look.
It's
probably not his. It's not his fault either. But yeah, Will Greer is shit.
But you look at that down the stretch though, they did turn the ball over. I think it was like an average of 4 times in 2019 with Carolina. So he didn't get a fair shake at that. But Cam spoke well of him as his quarterback's coach. This is also the man who got Josh Gordon to play his best season in the NFL as his position coach in Cleveland. So I think that Scott has the potential. He just has to have the right tools. And then I think he gets in that point. Norv Turner's my daddy. I'm smarter than the rest of y'all too. That I really do think that sometimes his play calling, his situational play calling, running gun on 3rd and 1 just to run the ball, like this stuff ain't gonna work in this NFL. Because when you get with a smart defensive mind, which there's not a lot of young smart defensive minds in the league, but once you get to one of these defensive minds, they're going to hit you in the mouth with this. So I think he hasn't had a fair shake, but he really hasn't had a quarterback that can maximize his potential as an offensive coordinator.
I mean, but just to push back on that, I think, you've got to have a coordinator that makes the best of what they got. That determines the scrubs from good coordinators. So when you talk about he doesn't have, I mean, every coordinator wish they had a Tom Brady or something like that. It's just not the reality, right? I could say the same thing about Joe Brady, and I think that goes for any offensive coordinator.
Good point, man. I like that. So let's kind of pivot a little bit and talk about the game. So this is actually a great question for both of y'all, right? So, so Carolina's a 3.5-point favorite heading into the game. Cam's coming back. I actually talked to Rashad the other day. Carolina Nation is pumped about it, right? The whole city got on vibe right now, feeling real good. What is your confidence level in the Washington victory this week, or Rashad's case, a Carolina victory this week? And how do y'all feel about Cam returning? Rashad, do you want to start off with that, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, man. I heard you guys talking earlier about Chase Young and him being out and what he means to the team and whatnot. Well, we'll take that and magnify it times 1,000,000, and that's what Cam Newton's brings to this city and this team, right? I think you saw that last week. He only played like 9 snaps, and we went out there and destroyed the Arizona Cardinals, right? And it doesn't take. It's just him, his presence, his energy, his leadership, his swag. It's going to be crazy. And I'm telling y'all that the atmosphere on Sunday is going to be ridiculous. Like it's going to be crazy. It's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. I will be there. And it's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas, bro. Like it's going to, like, ticket sales doubled. Soon as we signed them, ticket prices skyrocketed. This dude does. He is Charlotte. He is the Queen City. He is the Carolinas, and just his presence alone is going to help us out. Now, from an X's and O's standpoint, I think we're going to ride our defense. Our defense is where it's at right now. Again, top 5, top 3, whatever metrics you're looking at.
We looking good.
We
man.
up there. Yeah, we up there. So again, I think it's going to really predicate on the run game. If we can get the run game going, I think we'll be fine. I'm confident in a victory. I just think it's going to come out. We're going to come out a little shaky. I think it's going to be amped up. Cam's going to be amped up. He's going to have to calm down a little bit. And I think once he gets calmed down, I think it's going to be on fire. I think we're going to be good, though. I'm confident in a Panthers victory, but it's no cakewalk, though. No disrespect to the football team. Y'all got a nice squad. So I think it's going to be a nice little dogfight.
Definitely think it'll be a dogfight. And honestly, I'm happy for Cam. Like, I don't know if check the receipts on Twitter, man. When Cam became available and we had the whole Ryan Fitzpatrick injury, I was clamoring for Cam Newton. I was like, you know what? I've always been a fan from afar. I like that swag that he brings to the table. He's one of those specimens. He's like Hall of Fame. Like, you don't get those 6'5", 240-pound quarterbacks to score touchdowns. Like, I think Rashad, you might know better than me. He's like maybe number 1 or number 2, rushing touchdowns. How high is he up there on the list? He's number 1. That's what I thought. He's all the way up there. So I mean, he is a special, unique player in this NFL. So I'd love to have had him on the team. We'll see what he has left on Sunday. But Corey, what are you thinking, man? What's your confidence in this game? How you feeling about Cam? Are you scared about Cam? How you feeling, bud?
I'm not scared about Cam, man. I think the media has done a great job of gaslighting him in this situation. Now if it was if this was Cam 2-3 years ago, I'd be like, okay, I'm terrified. Like when we went down there and during their Super Bowl season, like that, I was concerned about that. And even in 2018, when we beat them up here, I was a little bit more concerned. I don't know. Like for me, I always ask the question, you've been tied to the hip of this guy for 9 years and you don't make that phone call. Why? That's my question. And that stinks. And a lot of people, we got Washington fans here, George. They're like, well, I hope Cam gets vindication.
Yeah.
You want Cam to get vindication for what? He doesn't, we don't owe Cam anything. But anyway, I think he's going to go out here. I think he's going to play a good game because he's going to be in front of that city. It's his first time back. And he's going to enjoy that moment. Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, I think our guys are going to go out here and put together another impressive showing because at the end of the day, Ron and them, they were able to pull out the books on this. And I think Ron feels the pressure from the fan base and from the upper room that they need to go out here and win this game. I think this is very playoff-like for Ron Rivera, and he needs to have this. Now, how do you do it? You can't turn the ball over because this defense is very strong. It is a good defense. The secondary, awesome. I love Jeremy Chin. Let me tell you about it. And that brother can play. And then, you look on the opposite side. They've got a great running game. Y'all got I think, a great 1-2 combo with McCaffrey and Hubbard. And if McCaffrey's on, Child, please, man. And then if old what's old Thug Life? Rob Anderson. If he out there, if he's on too, Lord have mercy. Defense, Jack's got to be ready for these guys. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's gonna be a good one, and I think we're gonna go out there. I always say this: Washington money line, man. I think we got it here because it's homecoming for the boys in Burgundy, and like 300 people of the staff there in Ashburn. So
now for like, it was funny. So I listened to that Steve Smith interview, and obviously I'm a big NFL fan, so I kind of follow the team from afar. But it just so like, Rashad, your defense is star-studded, bro. Got AJ Bouye, Dante Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, Jeremy Chin. Like, I mean, it's a squad, man. I would take any one of those players to add to our team, to add some more talent over there. So it is going to be very competitive. And I think Corey's the one that touched on it. This is like that crossroad games for both of our teams, right? We're 3-6. I mean, realistically, we're not going to make the playoffs this year. Or if we would, this is a must-win game for us. And then for you guys, 5-5, becoming 6-5 and kind of breaking that threshold, you guys are right in the mix, man. You guys are, you might be in the 7th seed at that, and in tomorrow's game. That's very interesting. So we'll see how that goes down.
Well, we're in it right now. We're in the 7th seed right now. Okay. And I think it's important for us because we literally control our own destiny, right? If we win out, obviously we don't know if that's going to happen. But if we win out, we can win a division. We've still got to play Tampa twice. So we got to go out there and get this W, get some momentum going for us, man. It's all like I think Corey said. This is playoff atmosphere for both of us. This is a must win game for us, and I think we'll go out there and do it. I think it's a lot on the line. I think it's gonna be, the crowd's gonna be insane. Playoff atmosphere. Cam has already said it. We got to reclaim the bank. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be insane out there, bro. It's gonna be insane.
The media is probably awesome this week, man. I'm happy you're enjoying that, man. It's real cool. So let's do 2 more questions real quick to kind of respect your all time, so we can wrap it up for the night. So Rashad, let's talk about this, right? So from your perspective, the outside perspective, is there anything that's concerning you? Like, from the Washington perspective, or is there anything you're worried about? Like, this is the advantage that Washington has. I won't hear that opponent's perspective. What are you seeing from your end?
Yeah, I think the interior, your defensive line scares me, right? You got Jonathan Allen. I think if he destroys our interior, because right, we have a backup center. He did play well last week. We have 2 inexperienced guards. They played well last week, and I think it's going to be one of the first times we have continuity on the offensive line. If they can put it together, I think we'll be fine. But I think that's the clear advantage, right? If he gets off and he's disruptive, getting pressure up the middle, it could be problematic for the Panthers. I think that's really the only thing that scares me. Outside of no disrespect,
that's our bread and butter. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. I feel like offensively, I think we can do some things to negate that. But I think obviously Christian McCaffrey, getting him out in space. If he's healthy, he's a beast. As long as he's on the field, he's a beast. Getting DJ Moore to football in space. We got a bunch of guys that operate in space. So I think if you get them the ball quick, you can negate some of that pressure up the middle. We'll see what happens. Defensively, we know Heineke. He's not a starting quarterback in this league. No disrespect. He's a solid backup. But I think we've got athletes all over the field. Him wanting to run the football doesn't scare me in the least. Shaq Thompson is sideline to sideline, one of the best linebackers in the game. Hassan Reddick is a beast.
I forgot about Reddick.
I'm not defensively. You might make some plays, but I think it starts and ends in the run game, right? If you guys get that run game going, which we are susceptible to, we only rank 14th in the run game. So I think that is slightly skewed by Zeke. Zeke went off on us early, and outside of that, man, we've been pretty lights out. So the run game is really going to be imperative for y'all, but it's going to be tough. It ain't going to be a cakewalk.
Now, and Rashad, people that are much smarter than me in the NFL kind of know how to beat Washington, right? So the way to beat Washington is to not attack the teeth of the defense. You having them some sweeps on the outside, some screens, some little wide receiver screens and the screens for the running back. Just get out on the edges. And we had Chase Young and Montez Sweat before, but we don't have them anymore. So I'm sure they're planning for that. I'm sure we're seeing as opposed to attacking the middle of the field. Last question for you, Corey, then we'll do score predictions. So what advantages do you see for Washington? What's the key this week?
Holding on to the ball. That's all it is. Converting. We've been one of the worst third down teams in the league, probably the worst on both sides of the ball. So I mean, you really have to put together the same style of game plan that you had last week and don't deviate from it. And that means running the football, being physical, attacking it and getting between them guards, running them delays, right? Just being physical right there and attacking the heart of the defense, not outsmarting yourself, right? So Heineke does not need to be testing Stephon Gilmore. He don't need to.
Please
I don't care if it's with no, we ain't gonna do that. Don't be disrespectful there. Now, I didn't call Cam Newton Medea, so I just did it there. Never mind. Anyway, Terry McLaurin, he cannot have that tunnel vision. George, I don't know if you were at the Giants game.
I was at the Giants game. Yeah.
You can't target him 14 times and stare him down like you about to get like you about to get assaulted or something. You can't do that. You're gonna have to spread the ball around. DeAndre Carter was a nice wrinkle last week. Hopefully we can get who's going to be your starting tight end too. I think that's going to be key.
Bates probably. You'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, John Norman Bates' great grandson, right? So we're gonna go psycho with it.
Yeah.
Defensively, bro. You've got to contain Cam Newton, and he can still make you hurt. I mean, he was the best running back that could throw last year in the NFL. What was 500 yards and like 12 touchdowns on the ground last year. So you got to watch him on with his legs. And then you, like I said, Anderson right there. You're gonna have to play Kendall Fuller. Dear God, if you're on him, man, and William Jackson III. I don't want to see you even flagged for a penalty, or you need to be taken out the game and set down. That's exactly what it is. And our best linebacker, Landon Collins, man, play him going downfield, contain them two running backs I talked about. And I think you got an opportunity to win this ball game.
So Landon Collins definitely got to spy Cam Newton. That's kind of the way to the game. Our defense has to lead the way. I think if we do win this game, it's going to be a defensive battle on both sides of the ball. It's going to be Carolina doing what they've been doing all season. Washington's supposed to be doing, finally doing what they're supposed to be doing all season, and kind of a, uppercut kind of a, 3 yards in a cloud of smoke kind of games what we're looking for. I do think a turnover battle is going to be a really big deal. Rashad, one thing to peep, watching the games week to week to week to week. Taylor Heineke throws a high ball. He throws it like high. Like he'll throw the ball, and our Rodgers just have to jump high to get it. So it's very like there'll be some tip balls in the air, and with your defense, you might get a pick. So that's going to be our backbreaker. So if Taylor Heineke throws a couple interceptions, I think that's going to be the story of the game. So protecting the ball, playing defense. It's all basic stuff, but that's going to be how we beat basic stuff, basic football. That's going to be how Washington wins the game. So to bring it on home, because I want to respect y'all time and thank y'all for coming on with me tonight, let's do some score predictions, and I want y'all to share your socials. We'll do score predictions first. So, Rashad, what's the score for tomorrow's or for Sunday's game? What are you thinking?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna try to be consistent. I think I said 27-17 Panthers.
Okay.
I think again, it's gonna take some time for the boys to get going. The crowd's gonna be crazy. Once they get it under control, I think it'll be a good defensive battle, and I just think we'll be able to score more points. And I'm rolling my boys 27-17.
There you go, my man. Corey, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll do a shameless promotion here. Sunday's my birthday, so I gotta, and in honor of my birthday, I'll go Washington 31 because that'll be my age right there, right? I know I don't look like I don't look it, but and since it's the day, I'll go 31-21, burgundy and gold on top of that. Hey, let's go, man. Let's go. You gotta live life on the wild side.
Live a life, Corey. That's good stuff, man. I'm gonna keep it consistent too. Like I don't know how confident I feel about this, but I think this is the roadmap. I said it on Rashad's podcast the other day. I think 20-17. I think Washington will get the W. I think it's gonna be a close game. My thing is this, right? I think it's gonna come down to Cam. I don't think Cam is 100% ready to take over and start every single snap. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the same offense that he ran in the past, but I can kind of see Cam getting some reps, maybe PJ Walker getting in there. I think, if we win the turnover battle, win the game. I'm being optimistic. We'll see what happens. At 20-17, I do think it's going to be a slug match. It's either going to be, I know it sounds so kind of a wishy-washy. It's either going to be a low-scoring battle or our defense is going to fall flat on its face and Carolina's going to blow up. So Robbie Anderson's finally going to get right. But I do think I have confidence. We looked really good last week, and I think Ron Rivera's teams, and maybe I'm being a homer, I think they do kind of turn it around in November and kind of start clearing up and starting getting on the right foot. So hopefully we'll be okay there. So thank you, gentlemen. Let's kind of close it all down real quick. So, Corey, we'll start off with you, man. You've been with me the whole time. So, Corey, tell them where to find you on Twitter. Tell them, your socials, your podcast, plug everything, man. You got it.
Yeah, I appreciate you, George, for having me on. Thanks so much. On the Warpath on YouTube, you can find me there. You find this little guy in the corner right there. And then at Sanchez 405 on all social media platforms. So you can find me there, Instagram, Twitter. I usually have some self-deprecating humor when it comes to our team, so you can enjoy it there. And I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate it. It was fun. This was fun.
It was a good time, Corey. First time on the pod with you. Had a good time. Definitely a good personality, so you definitely be on here again, man. Appreciate that. And Rashad, what about you, man? Plug all your socials. You got it, man.
Yeah, man. At Panther Nation PC on everything. If you go to YouTube, Panther Nation Podcast, man, we lit. We're trying to get to 15K subscribers. So even if you're a Washington football team fan, we do have fantasy content. We've got draft content. So you might pick something up over there. So hit that subscribe button for your boy. We greatly appreciate that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of that, man. So Rashad's good people. I basically jumped on his pod the other day. Level-headed fan. Definitely talks all sports. Follow him just to keep in touch with the whole NFC, man. So it's all good over there. So, gentlemen, I really appreciate that. This is George Carmi signing out. Take care, guys. Have a good night.